I wouldn't say there was as much criticism of the decision to send people potentially with COVID-19 into one of the most risky environments for COVID transmission. I mean, the Prime Minister repeated this statement yesterday at Prime Minister's Questions, that the government had not been told by Public Health England about asymptomatic transmission. I mean, that is just nonsense. I want to show you a quote from Sir Patrick Vallance, the Chief Scientific Advisor. And he says this. He was on the Today programme on March the 13th that year. He said, it looks quite likely that there is some degree of asymptomatic transmission. There's definitely quite a lot of transmission very early on in the disease when there are very mild symptoms. He was talking about it, I knew about it, my colleagues here at Sky News knew about it, for the Prime Minister and indeed the Health Secretary to maintain that they knew nothing about it because Public Health England didn't give them an explicit warning. I mean, it's just this court case proves that not to be true.
Well, look, I think, as I've said, there is going to be an inquiry, so we can actually see the whole thing in context. We can study what you're saying about whether the Prime Minister and others were told. We can see whether they acted on it. I certainly remember using military personnel to try and take testing to care homes, so we could make sure we...
Oh, no one is denying that the armed forces played a key role.
No, but it's not just about the armed forces. The point was the government did recognise there were issues in care homes, which is why they asked the army, for example, to assist that. I think, you know, look, there's a court case. I haven't read the 75-page ruling. Definitely the welfare of people in this country is top of my agenda.
The Prime Minister misled the House yesterday when he said that he did not know about asymptomatic transmission. That was his Chief Scientific Advisor there. Well, look, they just switched on the Today programme, and I'm not suggesting people do, but, you know.
Well, I think first and foremost, what I would say is that quote doesn't talk about asymmetric, it says mild symptoms, right? So some people have no symptoms who had COVID.
I will read it. I will read it again. It looks quite likely there is some degree of asymptomatic transmission.